Hey everybody, what's going on? RotoVN here, and today we have a huge Mecha Break video for you. There's a lot to jump into because, wow. So before season 2 begins, Chris, the producer of Mecha Break, shared a lot of information, and essentially going through this here, I'll read some of it, not all of it because it is a lot, and I'll just kind of help you surmise everything that's been going on. But essentially, he mentions that, since the first reveal, Mecha Break has been received far more attention than we ever expected. Along the way, we faced our share of uncertainties and challenges, and frankly, we know it hasn't lived up to everyone's expectations for a Mecha title yet. We've been searching for a breakthrough. At this moment, if we don't take a bold step forward, we'll never move past our current hurdles. Mecha Break needs to break its own limits. While we keep the current season running smoothly, we'll focus our efforts on delivering a whole new Break edition of Mecha Break around the anniversary, bringing it to more platforms, including PlayStation 5. So what is exactly the Break edition? Our goal for Mecha Break has always been creating the best mecha game possible. While there may have not be one single answer, we believe that by exploring this question together with you, we can push the game indefinitely closer to that vision. Going forward, we want to partner with you in an open and ongoing dialogue. We will carefully listen to everyone's thoughts and explore the game's future together. So I just want to say this is awesome because the Mecha Break team, Chris as the producer, has basically stepped up and said, hey, look, we got to do something bold. I want your help. I want this community to help and do this with us. So let's make it something awesome. They also go to talk about, even at the Video Game Awards 2023, when Mecha Break was debuted, I was so hyped personally. And Chris mentioned how he was nervous and excited and eager to hear what players thought. Bro, even on watching this, I lost my mind when I saw Mecha Break, bro, and I was in it. I was all about it. I was all about it. So now they did talk about building Mecha Break's future together because it essentially stands now at a crossroads, and they want to chart a new course for the future of mech games with us. From season 0, season 1 now, they've made several improvements from UI layouts to matchmaking, and they realize that improving the experience alone isn't necessarily enough. After a period of live updates, we see things more clearly now than ever. So this is another part of them essentially fessing up to, hey, this game isn't what we want it to be. It's not the game you deserve. So what do we do? What do we do? And here's the neat part here. Check it out. These discussions have shown us there's plenty to do to reach that goal. But no matter how long the road is, we're committed to finding what truly makes a mecha game satisfying for more players. Is it piloting unstoppable warframes to defend global cities against endless enemy swarms? Is it teaming up with other players to dive into dangerous missions and take on challenges? So they want to know what kind of content we want to see in Mecha Break. Now, there is a survey you need to check out, and we'll jump into that really, really soon. Overall, the team coming up with this information, props to them. Like that's me clapping. I'm excited and I'm happy that they're doing this because I really think you have to be brave and confident in your community to do this instead of getting dragged in the mud. For one, I want Mecha Break to succeed. I only want it to succeed. We need more mecha games. We need more iconic mech sources. You know what I'm saying? Give me more mecha media. And Mecha Break has a good foundation to do just that. All right. So I will be honest with you all, though. I'm glad this is a thing because I've not played too much this season. Honestly, by the time I sit down and try to play a match or two, sometimes I'll either get frustrated or I don't feel like the actual excitement I did playing with other players. And I know you can play with people, in Discord and stuff, but sometimes you can't really schedule your free time. May it be 30 minutes or an hour to play, and stuff's get very hectic. You start waiting on people, doing stuff, matchmaking, all this stuff. It's sometimes too much. I just like to play as I can. All right. So I respect everyone who has been extremely consistent with Mecha Break, playing it or covering it. I do want to apologize from you guys. I've dropped the ball on some news because generally when I get the news is released to everyone. So I feel as if it's a lot harder because if I'm not right there on the cusp or at that second of that information being released, you guys already know it. But if you guys still want me to do it, I will do my best to continue to do just that. Now, My particular feedback in the survey was a lot. I personally feel as if there's a lot of different avenues to switch, but before I jump into that, personally, I think there has been, first up for me, there has been too many bots. At the start of Mecha Break, you could find yourself like in a long climb against bots, and like what angers you more is when it's a full bot team and the enemy team is bots, and the enemy team are playing a lot better than your team of botsers. So that was very frustrating. And again, things have changed. They have adjusted the matchmaking because of that and other reasons, and it has gotten better. But that still had left a taste in some players' mouth. Now, on top of that, personally, again, you guys, these are all my opinions. Everyone's entitled to have their own opinion, okay? Just to let you know. The next one, I think there were too many ranks at launch. Like, at the release of Mecha Break, there was a lot of ranks, right? And I know people obtain these ranks, but in doing so, it could cause like massive burnout, right? So I think season 0 and season 1, the grind burnt me out personally because I was doing essentially the same thing. Rather, it was playing against bots or a stacked team, you know? And they have changed the matchmaking, like I said before, but I'll get on every so often, play a match or two, and be reminded how fun it is to play, right? Especially when you're trying to rank up in the ladder for that season. But keep in mind, to me, it feels like it's one of those things, if you don't play rank at the start of season, you can get left behind and you can be thrown into battling bots a lot more. And again, it's a me thing. I'm the problem, okay? I'm just putting that out there. I understand. I get it. But that's another thing, me not being able to play a lot for the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I come in and I still feel like I'm missing some of the players I would like to play against, or I'm just going against more bots. Now, another thing Mecha Break kind of struggles with in matches for me, and I feel it's not necessarily the game, I think it's the way people play it. But there's not a lot of communication in most games. People don't use voice chat. The pings, at least for a pad, are kind of annoying to deal with, and there's not really an easier way for callouts. I would say Gun Battle Operation 2, they're all different callouts you can use. While those aren't always used, I feel like something a little bit easier or revisiting that design could help. Again, personal preference, I feel as if communication could be encouraged more or something of the sort. Now, when people do communicate, I love it. I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I just want to have fun. I want to have a good fight, good game. Be like, thumbs up to my teammates, thumbs up to my enemies, on to the next match. Simple, right? Now, another thing regarding Mecha Break, the striker balance and testing. I think it's very important to ensure strikers are balanced, right? Because a thing we mentioned long ago regarding the health of this game, I love that Hell and Alphanard was added in the season, but these two suits alone don't seem to necessarily follow the same patterns of being tested. Now, I'm not going into details, but I have seen people utilize certain techniques with one or two of these new strikers, and it's kind of like, yeah, this is kind of busted. So if it was intentional or not, I understand, but stuff like that needs to be checked a little bit more cautiously, and sometimes things bypass stuff. But also in the survey, you can voice this as well. I just want to ensure that some of the strikers come out, they're tested enough, or allow some people to test it internally, or invite a small group and allow people to test some of these strikers, some of this content before it hits the actual live service. I think it's very important to do that. That way you can get proper feedback upon releasing a new striker or a new game mode or event. That way you don't release a striker and it's underpowered or it's overpowered, and you have to worry about tweaking it mid-season where people are already playing, climbing the ladders because they're using one striker, and it's hit with buffs or nerfs and the whole dynamic changes. I personally like it, but I feel as if a lot of very competitive players won't like that. Again, my opinion, just putting it out there. Next up, the cosmetics and monetization. I'll say that some of the monetization options in this game are reasonable, and others quite not. Nearly $50 for a custom striker pack in US dollars is, I won't say off-putting, but it's steep. It's a lot. It's a free-to-play game. I understand. Mind you, I love these, but maybe if these were dropped closer to like the 20, 30 or 50, or excuse me, 35 range, I could probably consider or see other people purchasing these more. Now, even though I think that's a stretch, I feel as if the people who want this game to succeed or people who are excited for their main, they'll drop, $20 for these cosmetics. But $50 is a lot, right? That's the price of multiple games on Steam in this day and age. So you have to be very mindful with that. Again, I'm not saying don't sell them, because I love these custom striker things and I love the story, I love the cinematics and stuff like that. But times are tough out here, and gamers have to decide extremely quick about what they want to spend their money on. And if you turn them off with a price point, that might kind of stick to them for the next time something's released. They'll know, oh, this is going to be expensive, I'm not interested in it. Rather than seeing something at a reasonable price, they could probably work with. But yes, again, gamers are very careful when they spend their money on, so we have to be very cognizant of that. Team, hopefully you just take this to heart or consider this just some. One thing I didn't really care for in Mecha Break, which I understand, but I really didn't care having to unlock certain places of my hangar. I think that was a turnoff for me at the start of the season in terms of things, because I would want to have, invite friends, do whatever, explore the base together. But if I don't have that unlocked, or if they don't have that unlocked, we can't see these places. I would rather have these places unlocked by grinding a rank as I play, or certain missions in game, rather than worrying about unlocking them with this currency. I know it's adjacent, but I just didn't like that it costs like what, 20k or something. It costs a lot, but hey, they're just for visual, relaxing mini games. Bro, the mini games, awesome. Give me more of that. I love small stuff like this. It is great. It's awesome. Speaking of which, I really want to have a hangar where my friends' strikers are visible. If you guys ever played Gundam Breaker or seen me play Gundam Breaker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you load in your base and your Gundam will show up. In Mecha Break, give me the ability to have my homies who come hang out in my hangar have their current striker on display. I know they talked about having this like a module hangar at some point, so I'm not really going to hash that out, but I'd hopefully would like to see that much sooner than later. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot, right? And this is, again, take a break. Let me take a sip of water as we continue, because hold up. Ooh. All right, y'all. So, my personal suggestions from my standpoint, when I'm seeing things, with no regard of what has already been announced, I would love to see another PvE mode for co-op instead of Mashmac. You can let it be 2, 3, or 6, 5, however many players. Try exploring this option through more PvE events for people who don't want to fight bots or super sweats all day, or stacks. The concern I have for PlayStation 5 particularly is that longtime players will turn off new players. And I see this being an issue for a lot of people, because when you come to a game and it's just coming out to your console, you're going to run into people who've been playing for months. You know what I'm saying? And that's not including people who've played with other betas or tests. You're going to see that difference eventually. Maybe not right away, but you're going to see it, and it's going to be like, oh, this is where I can get to in the game. Devil's advocate. That can also entice people to get better at the game, learn, create content for Mecha Break, and ask others and join the community. Be like, hey, how do I get better at this game? Like I saw this player here. We have a lot of friends who play Mecha Break. You should totally check their stuff out as well. Love all my homies. They're good peoples, and I will always support the cool kids. All right, so just getting that out of the way. With that being said, I cannot wait for PlayStation 5 release, because I honestly would rather play on PlayStation 5 than PC. I'm a console player first. When it comes to playing games on PC, I play with the pad, all right? Now, they did mention a large-scale mode is still being worked on. They will continue to work on existing modes, PvP and Matchmack as well. I think Matchmack was a good idea, but not the best execution in terms of enemy and activity density. Again, I love the ideas of the bosses, and I wish more large bosses would either roam around or you having a chance to work alongside of others of your team, excuse me. So like if I'm playing with two people and there's a massive boss, I would like the option to fight this massive boss in the open area, or having the ability to create like a temporary alliance without, worrying about pinging and stuff. Now, I know there's those moments that it might happen, but I really wish that you could, create a temporary alliance and then kind of have some super mecha anime moment where the large villain is down and the heroes and villains look to each other and is like, all right, it's time to settle this once and for all. I don't know, that idea would be really cool. I am happy that they added the PvE mode to Matchmack. I'm curious to see the numbers and which mode people prefer. Let me know in the comments because I really want to know what you guys think. I think they should definitely focus on more PvE options, or at least explore those to see if it sticks. While we can talk about like massive suggestions, we can honestly make that another video because this is like a hero shooter adjacent. So with the roster of strikers, you have to be mindful of that. I personally, again, I would love to have a mode where I can just play with my friends, have a mission, infiltrate this base, take out these enemies, fight a boss, get loot, fight a boss, so on. I'm totally fine with that. Maybe kind of like dungeons. Give me a dungeon or give me a raid I can play with my friends. Give me missions like that, or give me defense missions where, waves of enemies are attacking and me and my friends are defending like a fortress, or we're escorting stuff. If you guys remember like the older Armored Core game series, there were a lot of different missions. Let's take Armored Core 4 and Armored Core 4 Answer an example. You had some massive fights in that game, dude. Like you had the Spirit of Mother Will, or the Will of Mother Spirit. I don't know. It was this massive contraption, this war machine that you had to take down. There was also this massive train you had to take down. Armored Core 4 Answer, some of the best Armored Core gameplay you can ever find. I'll say also shout outs to Armored Core 2, Another Age, another favorite mecha game. I can talk about mecha games for a very long time, but with this, I want to feel that kind of action when I'm playing either by myself or with friends. So I think they could have an avenue if they were to provide PvE content. Now, I'm not saying no PvP content because I think they're at a decent point with this PvP content. But again, I personally want PvE content. I think that will draw in another audience, another crowd of the game, and you never know. So, this has been a long video. I wanted to get very nitty gritty, and I know we don't do these kind of longer videos, just discussion time to time, but I want to know what you guys think. What kind of content do you want to see? Do you want to see PvE stuff? Do you want to see large scale battles? Also, do you want to see any collaborations? There was part of that survey, they're asking about collaborations, and I said one was need to be Gundam Armored Core. So make sure you take this survey, y'all. There's no reason not to. If you want to see the same succeed, if you played this game, if you liked it, even if you didn't like it, take the time to put your money where your mouth is, or put your mouth where your money is, or depending. Ain't that right, kitty cat? I don't know if you can hear the cat, but the cat says, do the thing. I want Mecha Break to succeed. I want Mecha Break to be that game where we look back 4 years from now and be like, remember when this game came out, we only had a few strikers, and then we had PvP mode, no PvE mode, and it was just like uncertainty. I'm glad where it is now. I would love to see it blow up, dude. I really, really would love to see it to the point. Give me Mecha Break Con. I know that's probably not going to happen. It could happen, but I would really love to have Mecha Break have live events. All right, folks. I know that was a lot. Thank you for chilling. I really appreciate it. I want to continue all these discussions in the comments, so please make sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. Guys, be very respectful of others and their opinions when it comes to this stuff, because not everyone wants the game the same way. Not everyone has the same functionality or the time to game. So keep that in mind. share this video, share this survey, and I hope from the bottom of my heart that you guys will help not only myself, but the Mecha Break team and Chris make this game that much more better. Whew. All right, y'all. Again, I appreciate you all. Until next time, stay out of trouble and none but love. Peace.